Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Devin Adams. I'm a Fortinet instructor here in Tempe, Arizona for Dynamic Worldwide, and you are watching one of my videos on my NSC FortiGate impromptu lab. Anyways, I've been going non-stop. I take my exam in literally 4.5 hours, and I'm just like, hey, you know what else do I need to review before I do this? And in the last video, we went ahead in our GNS3 topology, created this cluster here. All right, so as you can see, it's going across all the broadcast domains. We have FortiGate B, FortiGate A, all right, and if we go into our Windows machine here somewhere, you'll see that our cluster is actually joined and it is synced. Pretty cool, huh? So in this video, hopefully it's a heck of a lot shorter than the last few videos. We're just going to talk about some HA best practices. So for starters, all right, once the FortiGate, the remote FortiGate, or I'm going to call it FortiGate B, all right, join the cluster, we lose its visibility unless we reserve a management IP address. Now, what I don't like about the configuration settings, okay, if we pop in here, you can reserve an interface, but you have to take up an entire interface, okay? Instead of doing that, what we can do is that we can reserve a management IP address on the same port that we're on, which is port 6, all right? And it's best practice to do this because, you know, if we ever need to administer to one of these FortiGates independent from the cluster, all right, we're going to need a management IP address. Now, there's a problem, okay? And that is simply we can't get to the command line here, and whoever is the primary FortiGate will get the IP address of 10.10.1.254. All right, so how do we do that? All right, so that's going to be our very first task here is to get a management IP address on the individual FortiGates. All right, so I'm going to pop this open, okay? And yep, there's my cluster. But I'm going to do an execute HA question mark here, and you're going to see that we have several different management options that we can accomplish, and one of them is manage. And if we do a question mark here, all right, you will see the FortiGates that are available from the primary, and you'll see right there from the serial number that that is our FortiGate B. So I'm going to put a little 1 there, all right, and now it's just like I'm consoled in like HH, SSH, or Telnets, or through the console port, all right, but it's using that management interface. Look, it kicked me out because I was taking too slow. So I'm going to log in with my admin password, all right, and then now I can actually set that management IP address. So I'm going to do a config system interface, all right. I'm going to do a edit port 6 because that's my LAN port, all right. I'm going to do a show here, and as you can see, this is being synced across all the FortiGates. So both FortiGates think that port 6 is 10.10.1.254. It's the MAC address that's virtual, and that's why it never hits this FortiGate, all right? Because it's a secondary, it's a slave. So to reserve a management IP address, we do are you guys ready? Set management IP. Now here's the thing. You cannot set the setting until the HA cluster is up. All right. So if you try to do it beforehand, all right, it won't let you do it. But now that we do have it up, right, there you guys go. And now we got to pick an IP address that we can use to directly talk to that FortiGate B. Now, I am kind of a ding dong because I was just impromptuing these videos, and it would be nice to have them like in some kind of like order, but unfortunately I put my FortiAnalyzer in 250, and I put my FortiGate, or not my FortiGate, my FortiManager in 252, because it would have been really nice just to put one at 253, then the other one at 252, but now this one unfortunately has to go to 10.10.1.251. All right, so bad design, but whatever. So once I hit the end there, okay, I can always get to the FortiGate B, all right, by that interface. I mean by that IP address, all right? I'm getting a little loopy here, guys. So if I go ahead and I hit exit now, I can get back to A, and I can just do the same thing. I'll do a config system interface, all right? I'll do an edit port 6, and I'll do a show, and it's one of those settings that do not get synced. As you can see here, we have no 1251. All right, so we'll do a set management IP address of 10.10.1, and this FortiGate will always be able to talk to it at 253. All right, so with the /24, and then we'll do an end. All right, and now, as you can see, we now can, regardless of who has the role, if we ever need to get to the FortiGate A, we just go to 10.10.1.253. All right, that's FortiGate A, and we can confirm this by logging in and looking at the host name. All right, my super secret password. All right, there we go. When I get tired, I do like a weird Sean Connery impression. Anyways. All right, so there we go. See the A, and then if we come here and go to 10.10.1.251, we'll always get, are you guys ready? FortiGate B. Isn't that fantastic? All right, so that way we at least have direct access to both of them. Okay, now remember the 254 could either be A or B depending on who has the primary role. Now here in the GUI it says master, but you'll hear it called secondary in other documentation. You'll hear it called, master slave. Anyways, and that brings me to my second best practice, and that is when we were first bringing up this cluster, I wanted to make sure that the FortiGate that was in production that had all the configurations came up as primary for the first time, because that's how this blank FortiGate B comes online, and we can just go ahead and feed it the configuration, even though it's kind of like out of the box. And in our last video, we did that. But now I want to make sure that if the primary does fail, all right, and then rejoins the cluster, if I leave that HA override enabled, it will force another failover so it can become the primary again. And you know what? These are supposed to be identical FortiGates, and there's no reason to do this. So, for example, I was doing a demo in class where I had a ping loop going while I did a firmware upgrade. And when you do a firmware upgrade with the HA cluster, all right, by default, it tries to do it seamlessly. You still do best practice, maintenance windows, and all that jazz. But still, it brought down the secondaries, upgraded all of them, and then it gracefully brought down the primary and then upgraded the primary. But unfortunately, because of the priority number and also the override being enabled, when it came back into the cluster after the secondaries were updated, I lost packets, like 4 of them, and it hurt. Every single one of those packets broke my heart. Anyways, and then that's when I realized, hey, you know what? If I just would have came into my primary here and simply configured this, see how it says FortiGate A, back to the default, all right, and hit OK. Okay, and then go to my slave and have it with the same uptime. All right. See how they're both has the same priority number. 128, 128. By the way, I was just making sure it wasn't getting negotiated. Now, in my last video, I explained how the primary gets elected. So first, it's HA uptime by default, and then it's the priority number, higher number, the priority, unless you do an override. And the override simply says ignore the uptime and do the primary number, all right? But this one had the higher uptime anyways, so it still came back and it was fine. So because if it's tied, it should just whoever's been alive the longest. So I'm gonna go ahead now, all right, on both of these consoles. Let me just pop this open, okay? And I'm gonna turn off that override. So if it ever does come back, we don't have to worry about it. So we'll do a config system HA, all right, and then we'll set override to disable, all right? So that way it's uptime. Because after it's been synced, guys, honestly, it should not matter, and we don't want to force a second failover when that happens. And look at this, FortiGate here is fully being administered. Isn't that awesome? So we can just kind of pop this out now. See how we didn't have to do any kind of weird HA management. And then we'll do a config system HA, and we'll do a config or sorry, set HA. Actually, it's just override, isn't it? Override to disable. So that way we won't get any unnecessary failovers. All right, so that's another best practice. Okay. Speaking of, because the HA cluster does work so well, we should have more visibility on it. All right, so I'm going to go to my dashboard on my main, and there is an HA widget that you can do. Now, I don't have the license here, all right, for my security rating, so I'm just gonna remove you. All right, so but if we come down here to this widget and we say add a widget, there should be one for HA. All right, boom, right there. Okay, so now when I first log into my dashboard, I'll get that visibility that they're up, that they're synced, the uptime, all right, and when was the last time they had a state change. Okay, so once again, it is just to get that visibility. All right, get out of here, FortiCloud. I'm not using you. Here, I'll put it, oops, put it right next to there. All right. All right, cool. So that's another best practice. Now, let's keep going. All right. We still got a little bit more time here. So another one too is we have the security fabric. All right. And if we go to our physical topology, you'll see our FortiGates here. All right. And I'm curious, I cannot remember how it's going to handle the cluster. So here we go. If you come down here, you'll see our HA being defined by the dotted line. That is awesome. But let's just take a peek real quick on what it looks like on the FortiAnalyzer. All right. So if I do a 10.10.1.250, all right, let's get into the FortiFish. The FortiFish. I'm kidding, of course. All right. Maybe. Okay, is my FortiAnalyzer down? Oh, you know what? I bet you I don't have... Oh, no, I should have HA redirect. It's just going super slow. I was going to do this until my laptop blew up, and I think it's just about to blow up. But anyways, I was just going to show you guys that the security fabric should automatically recognize that B, and it should be good to go. All right, so there shouldn't have to be some kind of like additional authorization that we do. In fact, if we go over to our settings here, all right, we can see all the approved FortiGates. All right, and like I said, the FortiGate kind of loses its autonomy. All right, when it becomes a cluster. Okay, so and I have no idea what's going on with my FortiAnalyzer. I have no idea. Oh, poor FortiAnalyzer. So no, let's branch office. Let me try one more time, then I'll just move on. All right, there it is. I don't know why that looped the first time, but let's go ahead and log in. Let's just take a look. All right. Okay, so as you can see here, that's our VM license. But if we go to Device Manager, all right. Okay, we have our HA FortiGate, and there is no pending unregistered devices. So it all just kind of happens. All right, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but there is a little different icon on here, and that shows a little branch. I believe that is saying that it is the root. All right, and I don't know why our fabric topology isn't showing up. I'm gonna have to troubleshoot that later, but I'm just trying to say don't worry about it. All right, there's nothing that we have to authorize, at least not to the best of my knowledge. Let's just check the FortiManager just to make sure. All right. I wonder if that won't redirect to, oh, there it goes. Slow as dirt. Here we go. All right, admin, password. All right. So as you can see, we have no pending FortiGates in our root. There's usually a little one there. But if we go to our backup ADOM, all right, we can see in our device manager, all right, the same kind of icon. You guys see that? Oh, there it is. See the security fabric? What? Come on, guys. That is cool. All right. So, and then yeah. So, and all right, see the little asterisk right there? All right. The FortiManager does not mess with the HA settings, by the way. So, see the cluster members? I don't know why it says that it's down. It shouldn't be. So, anyways, good times. All right. Okay, so sure. Just letting you guys know that it's all right. It should be taken care of within the security fabric. All right. So it's being recognized. And that's just proof right there. I could have just stopped right there. I make these way too long, but I don't rehearse them, so you guys can see all my screwing up. All right. HA cluster. Okay, so another best practice, okay? So the HA does work pretty well, so there's a good chance that we want to be notified when there is a down. Now, we could do this either through our log alerts, but I'm going to take this moment to do it through the security fabric with our automation stitches is what they call them. All right, so here I'm going to make a new stitch. Okay, I'm going to say whenever there's an HA failover, what do I want you to do? Email me. Okay, email whom? Okay, I'm going to say let's see here, we're going to do Devin at itninja.lab. Nope, that's my email. My bad. Bloop. All right. And my subject is going to be like, HA is failing or something like that. All right. So should we send one to FortiDuck? Why not? So here we go. FortiDuck at itninja.lab. And a few videos back, we did add a simple email server to our GNS3 topology using, here we go, HA state change. Using our some kind of open source mail server there. So anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and actually confirm that real quick that I did set that up, because I could have been making that up. Here we go. I'm just going to come here to my login reports and make sure that I have my email server. Okay, yeah, okay. I do have my email server rocking. I might as well add FortiDuck in there too. All right, so here we go. FortiDuck, so it doesn't feel left out. itninja.lab. All right. And here we can do it by events. And here we'll say, let's see, viruses, FortiGuard, HA status change. Okay. I like the stitches better though, because you have more granularity. Here it's kind of like all or nothing. In other words, 3 people can get emails about everything. So if I was the only one responsible for HA changes, why would I be bugging FortiDuck about it? Because I'm a jerk? No. Just because you don't have that granularity here with the email alerts, but you do with the stitching. All right, so that's another best practice, okay, is to make sure that you have some kind of alert when a failover does occur. All right, what else can we talk about here? Now, something very interesting. So the heartbeat links, all right, if you guys remember, let's go to our system and let's go to HA. We are in active, so traffic that automatically qualifies will get offloaded to the secondary. Okay, but if we double click here and we look at our settings, you're going to see, oops, I meant to go to my primary. Here we go. You're going to see that we enabled session pickup. That's also known as seamless failover. Now, the session tables and for TCP sessions and also for IPsec tunnels, if they have no kind of like inspection that requires the kernel, it will get offloaded to the secondary, which is kind of cool. But if you have a very busy FortiGates, and this being on the edge of our network, our root FortiGates, there's a good chance that that is possible. We do not want to bombard our heartbeat links. So you see our heartbeat links here, all right? Because it has to pass along all those session updates, including the heartbeats saying that I'm alive, right? So what happens on a connection if it gets too bombarded with traffic, starts dropping, and you know that this is happening because you'll have your HA cluster just fail on you. It'll bounce because it lost the heartbeats because it was getting too congested with the with the heartbeat links, all right, with the session pickup traffic. So let's go ahead and talk about some ways that we can mitigate that or try to help reduce that. So one thing that we can do, and I'm going to go into my individual FortiGates to do this because I got to do it through the CLI, all right, is that you can set, by the way, I have no idea why my lab environment's doing that. I got a bug here, guys, in my GNS3. For some reason, my admins are all over the place. Yeah, look at that. That is so crazy. Jeez, man. Something's looping in here. See the loop back? And I'm pretty sure it has to do with the VNC and all that good stuff. I've never seen that before. I'm going to kick out all these users. I'm going to have to troubleshoot that off camera because I'm pretty sure that's a GNS3 thing. So, all right. If not, that's really weird. Maybe I found a 40 bug. Anyways, but here we go. So what I mean is one thing that we can do, all right, and that is not relative anymore there, buddy. All right, sure, 1. No, won't even let me do it. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to waste my time with you. I'll just use the console port. All right, there we go. So, all right, let me zoom in here so you guys can see it. I'm like running out of time here, so that's why I'm just kind of plowing through that. All right. Here we go, make it nice and big. So I'm going to log in as Devin. There we go. All right, p@, something. All right, so let's do a config system HA, okay? And now we're going to set a, all right, over here it says something about a delay with our session pickup, all right? Right there, all right? And what's nice about that is set session delay to enable, is that until a HA, right? Until a, sorry guys, I'm getting tired here. Unless a TCP connection has been established longer than 30 seconds, it won't try to synchronize it. So all of those real quick connections, like going to a website that only lasts for a little bit, or, you know, what have you, it won't try to sync those. There's a 30-second delay. So that's one way that you can safely bring down that amount of traffic. Another way that we can do this, though, which is kind of neat, because we do have open ports here, I could add an additional port 8 to port 8, okay? And then from there, I can do something called load balancing the session pickup traffic. So in other words, what we're going to do is let's go ahead and set our, and this might kill my other FortiGate. So, but anyways, so I got to set that, let's see here. I'm going to set that timer. Let's see, I got to look at the actual syntax here so don't screw it up. So the first thing I got to do is set our session sync devices. So let's do a session, or set session sync devices, and we're going to say use port 9, all right, and then port 10. Nope, actually let's do 8, okay? And what that will do is load balance the session synchronization between those two interfaces, and then just use the heartbeat for the 10. And let's go ahead and do that now also for our B. So I'm going to do a execute HA manage just because I'm here and I got the resolution fine. All right, so there's my B, and I'm going to do the same thing. So config system HA, and then I'm going to do a set session delay, all right, to enable, and also set, I just missed it, didn't I? Session sync devices to ports 9 and port 8, all right? And what's neat though is for some reason, if 8 and 9 go down, it will still default back to using the heartbeat link of 10. All right, so this is just to keep the synchronization of the session table away from the heartbeat link interface, which is on 10. All right. Um, I think that's pretty much it. All right. So just a couple of ways to make it work a little bit better. So, all right, guys, before I take off, and this will be the last video I do today, just because I got to take my exam here. I say that, and I always end up doing another one, but should we test it? I think we should. So let's get back into our Windows machine. I'm just going to ping something. There we go. How do I get to a command prompt when you've been up all night? Here we go. So ping, I'll just do a loop on 8.8.8.8. Something simple out there on the internet. All right. And let's kill our FortiGate. All right. So now normally if you go ahead and in here and you do a graceful shutdown, it will bleed out the traffic. But we want to simulate it not being graceful. In fact, you know what? Why don't I get my Thunderbird open too so we can get an email alert about it. All right. Now, if you guys see weird spikes in the traffic here, guys, this is a lab environment running on an old laptop, so you're going to see that happen there. So, oh, look at all these alert messages because we set them up days ago. All right. So, firewall event detected, admin logged and failed. Okay. Nice. Hey, look at this. I'm already getting a bounce. That's kind of weird. So, all right, let's take a look here. Did that just happen too? Weird. All right, so here we go. All right, guys, ready? Let's kill this thing. Let's do this business. So we'll say 40 duck done us dirty. And he literally just powered off that bad boy without doing it gracefully. What? Oh, we did lose a packet. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we lost a packet. So, not a big deal. All right, not a big deal. Okay. Let me go ahead and see if I got an alert about it. And there it is. See? HA is failing. Oh, no. All right, so my automation stitch worked because remember that was my automation stitch. That was my log alert message. Okay, so there you go, guys. Some best practices there. And once again, all right. So the reason why we didn't change that, we went ahead and disabled the override too, is because if this comes back to life, all right, I do not want it to fail over again. We can just keep that FortiGate B as the primary. All right, and as that boots up, you're going to see that happening. We shouldn't drop any packets because there should not be another forced failover. So, but once again, all right, guys, whoever is primary will have the default admin IP address. So let me go ahead and log back in, and you'll see I'll be B. Now it's trying to pass the session cookie over, but yeah, I was going to say that's not going to work because it's a different FortiGate. All right, so here we go. We'll do my credentials here. All right, my Windows credentials, and it should be B because B is now the primary. Okay, and once A comes back up, it won't force it to fail over again, and that's what the override would have done. So, and they should be identical, so that should not even be a problem. So, yeah, not too bad. Let's go ahead and go to our system. Let's go ahead and do our HA, and let's make sure our look at that, already up. A is already good. It's now the slave. It didn't force a failover again. All right. And it just kept on happening like nothing happened. Okay. Now, if someone noticed a dropped packet and complained about it, more power to them. But I think that was pretty seamless. So, guys, there you go. There's some best practices with your HA, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. And like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna record another video here. Literally, my exam's in 4 hours, but I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll talk to you guys next time. So, peace.